Hi folks and friends. So I haven't done a update on my cards in a while. I have been playing around with my first prototype deck here for a couple days now. I said days, a couple weeks now. And it's amazing to have them in hand. This is a deck that I just did the cards, and I've been in between like two different card backs. I feel like I'm leaning towards something along this line, but that's why I did it split so that I can kind of get a feel for it. Whoops. And I also did it in two different cardstocks. So this is in the Eco Herbage. I really love the texture of it. Feels very earthy and like papery. I love the matte finish of it. But it just feels a little too flimsy for my liking. So between the two, I think I'm leaning towards the linen. That has kind of that like waffly texture on there. I think I'm leaning towards this, but then in my final prototype, when I do the box, when I do the deck and the guidebook, I think I'm going to try like a Superior Smooth, which I know is a little bit thicker. And I think it's like more of a matte kind of smooth effect. And so I think I'm going to do that for my final prototype, but it's been so much fun having this in my hands. All my hard work. And it's great to kind of see them on cards so that I know like if text needs like more weight or a little bit more flourish, or just kind of fitting the space a little bit better and adjusting that kind of stuff. So it's been really great for my process to kind of get it in hand, play around with it a little bit, and see kind of what needs adjusting. And speaking of playing around, I have been pairing it with a couple different tarot decks just to kind of see how that plays along. In the guidebook, I will include a write-up for each card, and then I will also have like 3 different like questions, and those are meant to be used however it works best for you in your daily life, in your practice. But it could be like a journal prompt. So 3 different like journal prompts based on what the card is saying, or you can use them as like a tarot spread. And so that's how I tend to use my oracle decks. I will like kind of get a focus with the oracle and then build the message around with the tarot. So I thought it'd be fun if we just kind of looked at a couple different tarot decks and see how they play around with my From Roots to Blooms oracle. So why don't we start? We'll do the one that's in a tuck box. And we will go with the Morgan Greer. Now, I love this little deck, and it's colorful, but it's like super classic. And I think it works really nicely. Let's see. With the neutral tones in my deck. I'm gonna zoom us in a little bit. Whoops. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so again, I think that the kind of warm off-white here with this kind of like 70s vibe in the art, I think really just work. And that's kind of what I was going for. I'm honestly more of like a really colorful person. So it's funny to see like my first deck that I've created be in like a black and white. But again, I like to pair my oracle decks with tarot, and so I wanted something that would be really easily paired with things, and I feel like it's really good for that. So yeah, that's with the Morgan Greer, and I think it looks good. Okay, You might hear my little baby chiming in the background. Okay. Now let's do something that is, I feel like this is a little less flashy color-wise. And it was actually part of the inspiration of making this deck in this tone too. This is the Fifth Spirit. Let me see. This is the Fifth Spirit. Oops. And this is probably my favorite deck right now. But it's in these same kind of warm tones, and you get a lot of this cream color coming through the back. And yeah, and with the black text and the black borders, I think it works too, which I was really happy to see, because again, I love this deck. It is so good. I use it for every kind of reading. And it's just such a supportive little deck, which is how I want my deck's energy to feel. Again, I feel like with so many affirmation decks, they're just, you know, have that like toxic positivity, live, laugh, lovey kind of vibe to them. And I'm not saying that doesn't work for people, but for me personally, it's not saying like what I need it to say to me. And so I feel like I can't be the only one, you know? And this deck is really good at telling me what I need to hear, the Fifth Spirit. And yeah, I feel like they have that in common. And so I think those work so good together, if I do say so myself. Okay. So I want to do something a little flashier here. And so I'm going to pair it with the Ethereal Visions Luna Edition, and we have that rainbow hologram there. And so a rainbow holographic detail there. And so again, my deck is coming from a really grounded perspective, but I think that little bit of that shimmer, a little bit of that shimmer really plays well. I hope it's picking up on the camera. But I think they play really well together too. Oops. And kind of saying, you know, what needs to be said. And these are kind of like have that toned down color as well, which again, I think just really work with what we have going on in the From Roots to Blooms. Yeah, I think that's a fun one. Okay. Now let's look at a collage style deck. You know, this is definitely going to be probably like the busiest option that I'm putting next to it. But my perspective is that, you know, with how grounded and and kind of like succinct this message is, I think it holds space to kind of have like a busier energy next to it. Like you're not being distracted by the colors, or even the illustration in this deck, and it holds space, you know, for this kind of flashy, colorful, textural difference, you know. Yeah, I like these together too. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it pairs with like everything I put next to it. Sweet. Okay. Let's see. I might pull one more because I feel like, okay, I did like really colorful and kind of bold with the Morgan Greer. We did that toned down with Fifth Spirit. A little bit more color and some flash with the Luna. And then got the busyness, like that maximalist vibe with the Uncommon Tarot. Let's look at something that's more like illustrative. Because I feel like that's, I mean, Morgan Greer is illustrative, but let's do, oh my gosh. Always with the bumping. I can't even help myself, y'all. Okay, this is what you come for though, right? Okay, let's throw the Emma Poetica next to it. This is a very colorful illustrative deck. Now, I haven't looked at these together yet, but let's see. Oops. Yeah, okay. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. See what I mean? Like, I feel like it goes with everything. Let's get like a, there we go. Yeah. I'm into it, y'all. I'm into it. So that's what I love about this deck, is that I think it works great with almost any other deck that you're putting next to it. But you know what? It really holds up on its own also. I know not everybody reads tarot, you know, and so I think having that option is great, and knowing that so many things pair with it so nicely, like, I love that. But it really does work so well on its own, you know. Just, why don't we get a little message for the people here? Something to remember. Oh. All right. And we have moving slow is still movement forward, right?